Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Angel of the Night here. We are back again with the Grand Challenge 2025 Part 2. This is team number 1, and it's battle number 7. We are getting into a battle here with our opponent, Durboy, and he's going to bring out his Dragonite and his Incineroar. Meanwhile, we are going to be bringing out our Ninetales and our Exeggutor. Now, of course, Ninetales has been able to set up the Drought, which means it's intensified the sun, activating the Chlorophyll. What the heck? So, Chlorophyll with our Exeggutor. Incineroar has gone for the Intimidate and is able to drop the attack stats of both of our Pokemon. Now, the idea here with the Ninetales, we've actually opted in to go for the Will-O-Wisp. Normally what I would do is I would swap out to Indeedee here so we can get the Psychic Surge, and then of course go for the Expanded Force with the Exeggutor, but both of the opposing Pokemon have priority type moves, such as like Extreme Speed or Fake Out, and they're very common. So what we're going to do here, we're actually going to swap out the Exeggutor for the Indeedee, and of course Ninetales has been selected to go for the Will-O-Wisp into the Dragonite to try to cripple it. So that's exactly what we're going to see here. So Exeggutor back to the party, and Indeedee is coming out to say hello. So once Indeedee hits the field, that's going to be able to set up the Psychic Surge and set up the Psychic Terrain, and that is going to basically stop the other Pokemon from having any kind of priority-based moves from working for, I think it's approximately 5 turns, roughly. Ninetales, of course, getting the Will-O-Wisp off onto the Dragonite. The Dragonite, of course, has a Lumberry attached. Not something you see a whole lot of nowadays, but he's going to heal himself up here so that way that attack situation is not going to be a thing. They did get some damage off onto the Ninetales, of course, not able to pick up a KO. And then, of course, the Flare Blitz from the Incineroar actually went into the Indeedee, getting some recoil damage and a little bit of Rocky Helmet damage as well. So with the Ninetales, we're going to lock in for the Will-O-Wisp here once again. And then, of course, with the Indeedee, we have a couple of options. We could go for a Trick Room. We could go for the Follow Me. I think the safest bet right now is actually go for the Follow Me to redirect into the Indeedee versus the Ninetales. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Now, of course, could we have stayed in with Exeggutor and gone for a Terrestrial of Fire? Quite possibly. We could have been able to resist the Incineroar earlier on in the battle, but unfortunately we didn't actually go that route. Okay, we're just waiting for our opponent here to make their move. Of course, some people do take a little bit of time more than others. I know sometimes I do run out the clock a little bit myself. Dragonite going in for the Protect here, and of course that is going to allow it to not get hit this turn. The Follow Me from the Indeedee, of course, is going to redirect everything into the Indeedee. Dragonite, of course, protecting, can't get hit by the Will-O-Wisp. And the Incineroar is going to go for the Parting Shot. Now, the Parting Shot, of course, was likely directed at the Ninetales, not the Indeedee. But it's going to drop the attack stat, special attack stat, and then go back to the party for another turn later on. Now, our opponent here basically gets a free swap in. So he's going to bring in, I think this is Primarina? Yep, Primarina. So that's a Water-type Pokemon out onto the field here during the sun. So that's actually kind of good for us because it's actually going to drop some of the stat of the power of that move. So we're going to go for the Follow Me here again. I believe we've blocked in for a Solar Beam, I think. But again, we are just waiting for our opponent here to decide what they want to do. I do have kind of a weird team combination out there. Normally I wouldn't have Ninetales and Indeedee out at the same time, but that's just kind of the cards that were dealt, so we're going to have to just kind of deal with that. Okay. A little bit of a time there. Okay, we're going to see a Terrestrialization here from the Primarina. Okay, he's gone into Flying type. That's kind of cool. So that way he's actually probably going to end up resisting the Solar Beam, if I actually do go for it. Okay, there's the Extreme Speed. That's why we have the Psychic Terrain up, boys. Here we go with the Follow Me. Again, redirecting everything into the Indeedee. And the Solar Beam. And we are absorbing the light. Now, because we actually have the Sunny Day up, have the Drought, that's actually going to allow us to attack first turn. Unfortunately for us, they are Tera Flying now, so that actually doesn't do anything. Primarina has gone in for the Hyper Voice, and of course is able to get some damage off onto the 2 Pokemon on my team. Luckily for us, we actually survived, so we're actually able to do another round. Pretty much at this point, I know that the sun's going to be going away here soon, and we are going to have to end up trying to figure out how to swap out some stuff. So we're going to have to figure that out. I'm kind of debating between going for the Follow Me, the Trick Room, or just a swap. If I do end up swapping out to Sneasler, I don't know if it's going to be hit or if it's not going to be hit. But we're kind of risking it for the biscuit here. As you can see, Indeedee is actually going back to the party. And Sneasler is going to be coming out to play. So here we go. We've got a ancient Sneasler here onto the field. The Dragonite has gone for the Protect, of course, obviously trying not to get hit by like a Will-O-Wisp. That's pretty much the whole reason why we kept the Ninetales in, is because we wanted to try to get some damage to that Dragonite, lowering some attack stat, you know, that kind of idea. Hyper Voice coming in, going to be able to pick up the KO onto the Ninetales. And, of course, Sneasler does get hit as well. Not as significant as the Ninetales did, but definitely did some damage. Exeggutor coming out onto the field, maybe why the Sun and the Psychic Terrain is still up. That way we can actually maybe try to attack first. Now, we could technically go for the Expanding Force here to try to pick up some damage onto the two opposing Pokemon. Dragonite does have the scenario of going for Protect quite frequently, so we're going to try to not aim directly for the Dragonite with the Expanding Force, just for whatever reason, in case the terrain disappears. And then, of course, we select the Rock Slide. Rock Slide should be able to do some damage onto the Dragonite as well as the Primarina, mainly because we wanted to do that because the Primarina is a flying type at this time. So we're actually going to pick up some serious damage onto that if it actually does make contact. Here we go with the Expanding Force. That is going to be able to hit the two Pokemon at the same time. Primarina is hurting bad. Exeggutor is getting a little bit of recoil damage there from the Life Orb. And of course, as you can see, Primarina has activated their Citrus Berry, regaining some health. Here we go with the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is able to hit the two Pokemon on the opposing side, being able to pick up the KO with the Primarina. That's our first knockout onto this team. Finally, at 7 minutes in. But there's the Aerial Ace coming in from the Dragonite. That's actually not something that I was expecting. Usually you see, you know, like Dragon Scale or like a Dragon Claw or an Extreme Speed, Protect, and sometimes you see like Stomping Tantrum or Earthquake. Didn't really think I'd see an Aerial Ace from a Dragonite, but you know, you kind of see something new every day when you play Pokemon. It's not necessarily the same old every single time you play, but that's definitely the most common set is, you know, a Dragon Scale type team with like sometimes Tailwind. Okay, Indeedee coming back in. Oh my god. Okay, Indeedee back in. Goldango is back in, and the battlefield has gotten all weird again. Now, of course, we do not have our Sun here anymore onto the field, so that means that we can't actually attack first. Now, we are debating on going for the Terrestrialization here in the Tera Fire into the Goldango. And then, of course, we have also decided to go in for the, I think that was a Follow Me, was it? Or was that a Trick Room? As you guys know, that this is post-commentary. And I've probably done over 180 battles since, since this match. Okay, we're just waiting at our opponent here. I have to say this is probably one of the longer matches that we've ever had. But, you know, 10 minutes, 30 seconds, that's quite long. Goldango going back to the party. It looks like they're probably going to come back out with the Incineroar. Yep, Incineroar comes back out. Going to get the Intimidate. Obviously, Intimidate doesn't do anything here to us in this situation. And here we go. We're going to go for the Terrestrialization here. I'm kind of thinking that they kind of figured out we were maybe going to go for like the Expanding Force. They probably didn't actually expect us to go for like the Tera and the Tera Fire. But at least we're going to be able to resist anything that Incineroar has. So that's going to be pretty sweet. So here we go with the Follow Me. Everything's going to be redirected yet again into the Indeedee. And I just realized that my scoreboard does not have the yellow for Indeedee. I apologize. We actually get hit by, I think that was an Aerial Ace. Indeedee goes down. And of course a little bit of recoil damage from the Rocky Helmet, picking up that KO. Here we go with the Tera Blast. And of course that's going into the Incineroar. This probably isn't going to do very much. It does a decent amount. A little bit of Life Orb damage there from me. That's not good. Every time that we do a move, we do lose a little bit of health there due to that Life Orb, but that's how we get our boosts, right? Goldango coming back onto the field, and of course Goldango could potentially be a problem for us, but hopefully we can actually get some damage off onto that Pokemon. We can always deal with the Incineroar later, of course. So here we go. We still have the Psychic Terrain still up. We are still Terra'd, so we still get the Tera Blast. So here comes a Shadow Ball from the Goldango, and that is going to actually hit hard and pick up a KO. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do any kind of resisting here, but it was still a fun battle nonetheless. If you guys have enjoyed the battle there today, you know what to do. Give it a big thumbs up. Post your comments in the comment section below. I would like to hear from you. And as always, have a fantastic day and take care.